Sí, me quedo aquí, ¿no? Toma balón allí. Toma balón. ¿Estás en valla? Soy yo en valla. Bola. Bola. La tienes delante, Moy, 3. Niño. Centrado, ¿vale? Viene, pego. ¿Qué hay que hacer? Aquí. ¿Recibe un balón aquí? Sí. Vale, aquí. Después te vayas. Vale, aquí. Estoy, pero... ¿Por qué? ¡No! Allí. ¡Hola! 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 Vale, niño, buen control. 7 metros, primer palo. Cebolla 8, centrado, pego. Voy. Sí. Ahí, 7 metros. Número, primer palo. Voy en 6, pego. Vale, Iván. 7, primer palo. Vengo 8, centrado, pego. Venga, aquí no hay nadie. Aquí no hay nadie, aquí no hay nadie. Voy. Yo. Yo. 8 metros, primer palo. Vengo al centro, la mano pego. Vale, Vale, Perú. 8, primer palo. Vengo al centro, 6, un ladito. Vale, fuera.
5 minutes. 5 minutes left. Good luck, everyone. Welcome back to the coverage of the IBSA Blind Football European Championships 2017. We are here in the fantastic city of Berlin. Our first game coming up for you in this section of the coverage, and in this group, which is Group B, will indeed be Georgia versus Spain. Once again, welcome. My name's Alan Mars. Alongside me is one of our lead commentators, Peter Selby. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening. I'm thankful to say that the weather is absolutely perfect, and we've got 2 fantastic games coming up for the rest of day 2 here in Berlin.
Yeah, we'll take a look back at what happened on day 1 and the beginning of day 2 a little bit later on in the programme. But for now, it's all about Group B. Coming up is indeed Georgia taking on Spain. These are the rest of the games they will have to do. Pete, we're talking about multiple champions against a team whose manager says they're here to win the whole thing. Fair play to Ila Rapshvili for coming up with that statement, but they actually qualified behind Romania, and we've already seen Romania ship 6 goals already on our coverage against England. So Georgia fancying themselves. They start off with Spain, then Belgium, Turkey and Russia are the rest of the teams in this group. Have Georgia got much of a chance here?
I'm afraid to say no. It's the highest ranking team against the lowest ranking team. Spain, one of the strongest teams in the tournament, let alone in Group B. Georgia, they're here not just make up the numbers, they're here to gain experience. They've only been playing blind football since 2014. They did very well in qualifying ahead of the likes of Ireland for this tournament, and they're playing against the world number 4. Only 2 teams in this tournament were in Rio. They finished 6th in Rio, did Spain. Very good team indeed, plenty of stars on show, and they'll be looking to hit Georgia for quite a few, because as you can see in Group B, they're alongside Turkey and Russia, 3 of the most powerful teams in this European Championships in the same group. So it might come down to goal difference, so they'll be looking to maybe even get double figures today.
So as you can see, the group standings there, nobody's played just yet. We've got 2 Group B games tonight, and then a first outing for Russia again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Turkey, the unlucky team that has to play late tonight and then get back on first in Group B. They take on Russia at 5 o'clock tomorrow. That's Berlin time. As we mentioned, we're on the site of an old train station. You can see the old entranceway right behind us. You can see the ball that's used in the competition right here in our studio as well. So lots of great scenery, Pete, lots of great new rules that have been taking place for the competition as well. Talk to me about Spain.
Well, the thing is with Spain, because they are the highest ranked team left in the competition, they are ranked 4. Only 2 teams, as I mentioned, were in the Rio Games last year. They were looking to win this. The top 4 teams will go through to the World Championships, and that's next year, and that's being held in Spain. They were looking to win that. They were winners of the World Cup in 2010, which is very impressive indeed when you include the likes of Brazil, Argentina in that conversation. Now, you mentioned about rule changes. The goals have increased in size, not by 1 or 2 centimetres, 66 centimetres in width, 33 centimetres in height. So when I'm thinking possible double figures, I'm not alone. There's many people out there thinking that the amount of time being played, because the time gets stopped every time an incident takes place, more time, bigger goals lead to more goals.
I actually overheard you talking to one of the people just outside your commentary room a little bit earlier on, and you were saying that you were convinced that over 10 goals would be scored in this game. That's a huge amount. We've had 6 from England, we had 2 from Germany. Spoke to one of their coaches a little bit earlier on. Actually, they wanted a few more. They felt that they needed a few more goals to try and keep pace with England in the early stages. He then said, obviously, unless we just beat England, so that would make life a lot easier. But it is going to come down to goals, and playing teams like Romania, like Georgia, who could give us a surprise, but on paper, playing these sorts of teams, that's where they've got to get these goals in the group stage.
Yeah, the rules have been designed because in the last 2 or 3 major tournaments, the latter stages in particular, there have been a lot of games that have finished 0-0 and have gone to penalties. So they're encouraging more attacking play, and that means that when one of the top teams is playing one of the lowest ranked teams, obviously the scores are going to increase. 3-0, 4-0 was very common. Now that's going to be turning into 8s, 9s and 10s.
Okay. Pick me out a star player for Spain, if you will.
Sergio Alomar, who's actually on the bench. He's not going to be in the starting lineup. I don't think it's going to be very long until he actually gets onto the field. Really good attacking youngster, really good close control as well. That's the thing with Spain. They're got a lot of heritage when it comes to blind football. They've been playing for a lot longer than many teams in Europe. So as with their maybe national team for the 11-a-side game, close control is very important. That's what they're born with, that's what they're brought up with. And then the expansive play will go from there. We saw in the first couple of games, Germany in particular, starting their runs from deep, which caused the defence a lot of problems. That's what I think is going to happen today. Spain, they're not going to be passing around the ball in the opposition half. They're going to be running from deep, using their close quarter skills, and then shooting from any angle now with the increased size of goals. I think it's all going to be one-sided. I can see it being double figures, but do look out for Sergio Alomar when he comes off the bench.
Okay, so we're going to let Pete run off to his commentary box in a couple of moments. This is the ball that will hopefully find the back of the net for either Spain or Georgia. Can the underdogs give us a big surprise? We'll hand over to our commentary team in a couple of moments when we are ready, because they are in the tunnel indeed. So there we go. Jonathan Bell will be the first voice you hear, and he'll be joined by Peter Selby.
Thank you very much, Alan. Indeed, welcome to the IBSA Blind Football European Championships 2017 in Berlin. It's day 2, and we are now ready to move on to matters in Group B. Spain against Georgia is the curtain raiser in the second of 2 groups in these European Championships. The officials leading out the 2 teams, the officials in their green shirts, black shorts and black socks. Spain in their traditional red shirts, navy blue shorts and red socks.
Georgia in all white. The Georgians lining up in the centre circle, just to the left of halfway as we look from the commentary position here in this glorious facility in what is quite an overcast scene at the moment. Grey skies beginning to build up ahead, but I don't suspect there will be too much poor weather, especially based on what we had last night, which was absolutely awful. But we're looking forward to what should be a fantastic game between multiple-time European champion Spain and Georgia. And we're now ready for the Spanish national anthem.
Die Nationalhymne von Georgien.
So Georgia, just like Romania earlier, singing their nation's national anthem here on an international scene for the very first time in a major tournament. If you are just joining us, a very good afternoon. Welcome to Berlin. This is the IBSA Blind Football European Championships 2017 in the German capital. The Germans have already played. They've disposed of Italy by 2-0. England defeated Romania earlier on today 6-0. They were in Group A. This is Group B. Spain locking horns with Georgia. So very soon indeed, we will have the coin toss between the two captains. Captain for Georgia is number 7, Bachana Margvelashvili. And the Spain captain is Youssef El Haddoui. But before we go to that coin toss, we can see the teams. Georgia with Tradi Mandario in goal. We mentioned the captain, Bachana Margvelashvili. Number 6 is Georgi Bashilashvili. Number 11 is Alexandra Sharkashvili. 17 is Georgia Petrashvili. And on the substitutes bench is just number 9, Bachuk Kazaya. Georgi Gayuri out with injury.
And let's take a look at Spain. In goal, number 1 is Petro Gutierrez. Number 11 is Javier Munoz. Number 4 is Ivan Lopez. Number 3, Jose Luis Guerra. And number 10 is Youssef El Haddoui, who is the captain for Spain. On the bench, number 13, Bakash Kashlaya. Number 5 is Georgi Kazore. Number 6, Alfonso Dalaselli. Also on the bench is number 9, that's Antonio Martin, and number 7, the dangerous Sergio Alamar.
So the coin toss has been decided. It looks like the referee is instructing a change around of teams. So Georgia will be kicking from left to right as we look from our commentary position in the first half in their all-white strip with the red numbers on their back. Spain are in a huddle on the far side next to their bench. They certainly have morale high. They are pumped for this one. They are looking to regain a title they haven't had since 2013. A disappointing Paralympics for them in 2016 in Brazil. And they are back with purpose here in Berlin, looking to not only win these championships, but go into the next year's World Cup on a high on home soil in Madrid.
Yeah, 7-time winners are Spain of the European Championships. Very impressive 2-time winners of the World Cup, including in 2010, and you throw in all the South American teams into that World Cup.
So it will be Spain who will kick things off. The referee just standing with the ball on the centre spot. The other official on the pitch as well, just making sure that the Georgian players have their blindfolds on correctly. Of course, all these outfield players are completely visually impaired. However, they wear the blindfolds just to make sure everyone is on an even playing field. The goalkeepers are sighted, as are the guides behind the goal, who will be helping out the attacking players for each of the teams. Georgia assembling themselves in their own half on the right of the screen, kicking from right to left as we look. Spain kicking from left to right in red shirts, navy blue shorts and red socks. Standing over the ball at the moment is the number 11, Javier Munoz, with Ivan Lopez just in front of him. Ivan Lopez, the taller of the two, and he'll be the one to make his way forward with the ball, you'd suspect, at the start of this game. Spain looking to go out strong from the offset, just like England did earlier against Romania. This is a similar sort of game, isn't it, Pete? Romania, England, this is a similar pit of wits with Georgia against Spain.
Yeah, so with Spain shooting from left to right, and Spain the overwhelming favourites in this game. Georgia qualified in second in a pre-qualification tournament back in April. Romania, who beat them in that qualification tournament, were hit for 6 earlier on today. So let's see what the Georgians have for us. All in whites, but it's Spain in their traditional red shirts, dark blue shorts and the red socks, getting the game underway. Past the broken line already. Number 10, Haladawi, the captain, switches play over to the right corner. It can't be kept from going out of the play, and it's going to be a goalkeeping restart for Georgia. And Manadario throws it down the right-hand side off the kickboard on the halfway line. Can't be controlled by Marigashvili at the first attempt. Now he gets a second bite to the cherry, goes past the broken line, still by the right-hand kickboard. He has to stop that from going out of play, shoots, and that goes wide of the near post. Really, he wanted to put his foot on the ball to stop it going out of play, but he decided to take a shot. Quick throw out by the goalkeeper Gutierrez for Spain down the right-hand side. Guerra comes past the broken line, gets well tackled by the Georgian defence, just clear their lines down the right-hand side into Spanish territory, picked up by the imposing figure Ivan Lopez inside his own third. Central position, stops when he gets to the edge of the centre circle, plays it down the left-hand side, intercepted by number 17, Petrashvili for Georgia, on the edge of their own broken line, and the Georgians, all in whites, bring it out down the left-hand side.
And Spain battling to try and win it back on the halfway line. On the Georgian left, having the ball at the moment, is their number 11, Shakrashvili, but he loses possession in the centre. On hand, though, is his teammate, Marcus Vashvili, who's currently battling away with Jose Luis Guerra, who now has possession, the number 3, going centrally over halfway, out to the centre circle, making his way to the right-hand side. Good tackle coming in from Georgi Bashashvili, who is the record goal scorer for Georgia. Of course, they've only been going 3 years, but he is certainly a man who is definitely got a lot of expectation on his shoulders if Georgia to get anywhere in this tournament. And a battle going on near the left-hand corner as far as Georgia are concerned, but managing to get the ball away is Ivan Lopez. And now Spain are on the counter-attack with Guerra. Guerra making his way down the heart of the Georgian defence. Gets a bit fortunate as he gets towards the right corner of the box. Still might get a shot away, does so with the right foot. It's palmed away by the goalkeeper in the end, Tradi Mandario. And Georgia managed to survive the first wave of pressure from Spain in this match.
El Hadawi on the halfway line, switches pace to the right hand, number 3 Guerrero, who had that chance. He's going to have another one here, edge of the D, right hand side, but it's cleared well by the Georgians up until the halfway line. Ivan Lopez picks it up for Spain inside his own half. 2 men back for Spain. Munoz and Lopez plays it down the left-hand kickboard, well controlled by the captain El Hadawi. Goes back towards the halfway line under pressure from a couple of Georgian defenders. And Spain at the moment playing with 2 men at the back already, different to how Germany were playing earlier on today. Lopez goes down that left-hand side, and Lopez, as he gets inside the final third, stops, has to cut back. At the moment, the Georgian defence, bit of a scramble defence. Here comes El Hadawi down the centre towards the edge of the D, right-hand side. Again, 2 Georgian players in the way. El Hadawi is nothing but tenacious. Looks like a Georgian player was just pushed into the ball. That goes out of play for a corner. I think the Georgian defender was actually pushed by a teammate there, so that's why no free kick was given, and a corner to Spain on the right-hand side. Going over to take it is El Hadawi and Lopez. Bit of a height difference between the two. El Hadawi, a very impressive player, captain of Spain, many caps, and he takes the corner. Back to the broken line, now more central, number 10 just gets pushed off the ball. Referee waves play on, he's over to the left-hand kickboard, still inside the final third. El Hadawi now comes towards the centre, stops, puts his left foot on the ball, goes again, right-hand side, just about to pull the trigger, and looks like he's gone over on his ankle. The ball's still live in the corner. It's going to be a corner for Spain, but El Hadawi is now limping. And I think the Spanish are not going to try and take any chances with one of their best players and their captain.
That would be a major worry for Spain if El Hadawi was seriously injured there. Doesn't look as if he is, though. He goes to the right-hand corner to take this kick, then plays it across the face, well blocked by Basilashvili, who has the ball stuck under his foot but still manages to tenaciously battle away towards the halfway line. In fact, break forward completely for Georgia now. He's the furthest man forward, gets towards the end of the box, shot comes in, and a really important save from Pedro Gutierrez. What a maraudering run forward from Georgi Basilashvili. We said he's the top scorer for Georgia. He almost added another one onto his tally there, and it would have been the biggest goal he has ever scored for his nation. 0-0, however. Spain at the other end, left corner of the D. Shot comes in low towards the near post, and Youssef El Hadawi, the Spanish captain, hits it wide. The referee's called a timeout there. There is a man down for Georgia, who I think is Alexandra Shakarashvili, the number 11.
Yes, the player went down. It looks like, again, he rolled his ankle, similar to El Hadawi early on in this half, where he went over on his ankle. But the referee saw that. Looks like the player's fine, actually, the Georgian defender, and it will be a goalkeeping restart for Georgia. Man, Dariel, the goalkeeper, will throw the ball out. Remember what he does. Has to bounce at least once inside his own half, or else it will be a foul caused. 5 team fouls are allowed per half. Any more than that, resulting in a 6-metre penalty. None to report so far. Throw down the left-hand side is good. Finds Basilashvili, who's up into Spanish territory on that left-hand side. Drifts inside into the centre circle. He's got Lopez for company, who pushes him off the ball. Huge height difference between the two, but Basilashvili is very tenacious. Lopez just clears for Spain, who I think have been ruffled in this first few minutes by the very, very busy Georgians in attack and in defence. Again, Georgia just clear their lines downfield. That's going to run out for a goal kick, and the goalkeeper for Spain just telling his defence to let that go. It's going to run out of play. So far, it's been all Spain, but then when Georgia got forward, they did have one opportunity, which did bring a save by the goalkeeper. It had to be low and alert. And in this game where you'd expect Spain to have a lot of possession, the goalkeepers do need to be alert, because they might be called upon at any minute.
Georgia are doing what they're good at. They're not trying to be someone they're not. They're not trying to play the same sort of game as Spain. They're making sure that they just get the ball clear and maybe get a slither of an opportunity at their end of the field. Spain have the ball in their defensive zone at the moment, encroaching towards the halfway point. Switch from right to left is made. Al Halazi cannot control as the ball cannons off the board and dribbles its way in towards the edge of the goalkeeper's area, who manages in the end, the goalkeeper Tradi Mandario, just to gratefully put 2 hands on the ball. His black gloves there planting themselves on the white ball as it ricocheted off a couple of Georgian defenders towards him. Ball cleared away down the Georgian right hand side. A tackle on Ivan Lopez from Marglashvili, concedes a free kick, and that will be the first free kick of the game. in favour of Spain. Just waiting to see if that is a team foul. It is a team foul, the first team foul of the game. And it goes towards Georgia.
Yeah, good control there by Lopez on just in front of the referee's technical area. Managed a lovely little drag back pirouette and completely deceived the Georgian midfielder. Getting back underway on the halfway line. El Hadawi, the Spanish captain, stops, goes to the left, now goes to the right, now goes back to the left-hand side, past the broken line, can't get a shot off, ball squirms free, and can it be kept from getting out of play? No, it can't. It's going to be a corner to Spain on the left-hand side, just ran out of play by a Georgian defender, and it's going to be a corner to Spain on the left-hand side. Goalless after 5 minutes, Georgia 0, Spain 0. Many people expected goals, but goalless at the moment. Spain, though, with a chance from this corner. Going over to take it is Lopez and also Guerra. It looks like Guerra will be the man to receive the ball. Everyone else is inside the D, so Guerra takes it now. Goes back to the broken line, more centrally now. Chance to get a shot off, and he gets a shot off with his right foot, and it rolls wide of the right-hand post. No danger at all for the goalkeeper.
Difficult, of course, for the players to make sure they know exactly where the ball is when they're about to shoot, and the shot from Luis Guerra there, I think, hit his left foot before it hit its right foot, and that put him off balance, and the ball went harmlessly wide from a Georgian perspective. Georgia have the ball now then, just inside their own half, with the number 7, Margalashvili, battling away on the far side with Al Hadawi. And it's a good tussle between those two, just short of halfway as far as Georgia are concerned. Trying to get down their right-hand side. Still with possession is Margalashvili, and he manages to fall El Hadawi and go right down the heart of the Spanish defence. Coming across is Ivan Lopez, and Luis Guerra is on the scene as well now to help his teammate out before switching defence into attack. And on the left-hand side, El Hadawi trying to judge the bounce of the ball off the board there, but it goes behind and out for a Georgian ball. Trady Mandario will start things off. All in black with a bit of red at the upper part of his top as well. He bolted out to the left-hand side, and Georgia trying to set off an attack. Yeah,
Margalashvili goes over the halfway line, right-hand side, being tackled well by the Spanish midfield. And still goes Margalashvili on that right-hand side. Stops in the sunshine here in Berlin, inside the broken line. Lovely little drag back away from Lopez, who in turn did exactly the same thing only a minute ago. And he's had it done to himself. He just clears his lines, get the ball into opposition territory. Spain, I think, were up against it in this game. I think the Spanish thought they were going to steamroll over Georgia, but after 6 minutes it's goalless. They'll have a corner from the right-hand side. Will the Spanish?
Spain not being complacent in this game either, Pete. They're getting all 4 men behind the ball when Georgia attack. And Georgia are only throwing 1 man forward at the moment, and that is Margalashvili. But it does mean that Georgia have been very resolute indeed defensively. And there will have to be now, as Spain have a corner in their right-hand side. Al Hadawi looks to square it across the face and cause some problems. He has done as well, just about cleared away by Basilashvili in the end, the number 6 for Georgia, and they can now counter-attack. Wonderful interception from Ivan Lopez, though, down the left-hand side. He's running at 3 white shirts here. He thought there was an option out wide on the right. There wasn't. He plonked the ball into that corner to no avail for Spain. 0-0, 6 minutes gone, and Georgia have the ball.
Yeah, 0-0, and also the goalkeeper's not really having to make a save. Rolled out by the Georgian keeper down the right-hand side. Well controlled on the halfway line, but tackled by Al Hadawi for Spain, who goes himself. He's the furthest player forward, past the broken line, right-hand side, stops, pirouettes on the edge of the D. Possible foul there by the Georgian defender, yes, and called by the referee. Took the man instead of the ball, which ran loose from Al Hadawi, and he incidentally gets himself a free kick. This could be the second of the team fouls for Georgia. So the free kick will be from 8 metres out to the right of centre, and it is indeed the second team foul for Georgia. Now, they're going to have to make a wall here because they're only 8 metres from goal are the Spanish. Right-hand side, El Hadawi standing with Lopez. A 3-man wall is going to be put in place. So behind the goal, the Spanish coach will tap 2 posts and possibly the crossbar as well. And he'll also let the players know that 3 of the defenders are in a wall. The others on the edge of the D more centrally. And it looks like Al Hadawi will receive the knock through his legs from Lopez. So Lopez to touch the ball to Al Hadawi. There's the near post being tapped by the coach behind the goal. The goalkeeper is standing to the left-hand side as being faced up from the free kick. And the referees are just saying to the Spanish number 3, Guerra, Just don't stand in front of the wall and then push the other people out of the way. Do bear in mind that will be an offence. Al Hadawi shoots, comes off the wall, bounces towards the kickboard, comes back into the centre of the D. No one can get a foot on it, so it goes to the left-hand side kickboard. And now cleared again by Georgia, up to halfway where Lopez receives in the centre circle. No one's forward in the opposition D or even in the opposition half for Georgia. And they're all behind their own broken line. Lopez shoots from distance, rolls wide of the left-hand post along the ground. No trouble for the keeper.
I just wonder if the Georgian coach, who is Ilya Kipashvili, was watching the Romania game earlier and sort of learned what they were doing wrong and has sort of corrected it for his own team against a similar standard opponent, Spain, as they are to England. And at the moment it is working. Of course, relatively early days, 7 minutes gone and it's 0-0, but very encouraging early signs for Georgia. Spain forced into an early substitution. Yusuf Al Hadawi, who perhaps got a bit of an injury earlier on in this game, has been taken off, replaced by Antonio Martin, the number 9. A timeout has been called. Unsure as to which team has called it. Looks like it's Georgia, and I think the words at the moment, Pete, from Ilya Kipashvili is keep doing what you're doing, make sure you defend solidly and have some belief.
I mentioned to Alan earlier that the German team had a lot of success by running from deep, and in England in their first 10 minutes or so they tried to pass the ball around and then started to run from deep and created plenty of chances and ended up scoring 6 goals. Spain at the moment, they're trying to build attacks, keep the ball and pass the ball in the opposition half, and I think they'll be better suited by employing those tactics of running from deep. But Georgia, you have to give credit, their defence is standing very firm, and their goalkeeper, and in fact, hasn't really had to make a save. So they'll be delighted by these first 7 minutes or so, but I think there'll be plenty of discussion on the Spanish bench.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Pete. England, earlier on today, eventually realised when they threw Robin Williams on, just steamroll at the opposition defence and see if they can stop you. Spain are trying to play the football that they would against a more better team, perhaps, and play their way around Georgia. And maybe that's not the way to go about this game. Maybe they do have to just really run from deep, as you mentioned, and go straight into the Georgian defensive zone, something Spain have been a bit tentative when doing so far. So Georgia certainly encouraged by the opening 7 minutes here in Berlin. This is the first game for both of these sides in Group B. 0-0 the score so far. Georgia will restart play with Mandario in the all-black strip with red knee pads as well. Of course, it's an AstroTurf pitch, so the players all, or most of them wearing knee pads anyway, to protect their knees when going to ground. Down the right-hand side, Georgia have it now, trying to break into the attacking zone with that man again, Margalashvili. But Spain managed to clear it away, only as far as Basilashvili now, just short of the centre circle inside his own half, facing his own goal. Lovely back heel from him towards the left. Margalashvili now, can he inspire an attack forward for Georgia? In the all-white strip, coming to the edge of the centre circle. Now defensive zone, swings for a shot, completely misses the ball, as does number 11 as well, Munoz. And all the Spain players being dragged towards Margalashvili there, and it shows how much of a threat he is.
Martin for Spain down the left-hand side, goes past the broken line, approaching the D, pushed off by the Georgian defence. It runs out for a corner. The Georgian foot came in from behind. It was a well-timed interception, just as Martin looked like he was going to pull the trigger from that left-hand side, which he's patrolling since he's come on the field of play, and adding a bit of pace and a bit of impetus into this Spanish attack that's been lacking so far in the first 7 minutes. Goalless here in the wonderful city of Berlin under a cloudless sky at the moment, completely different conditions to yesterday. Corner taken, Martin, lovely dribble in the area, hits the post. The right hand upright is rattled with a right foot rasper from inside the D. It runs out for a goalkeeping restart for Georgia, but Martin there showing tremendous dribbling skills from the corner direct into the D, and a right footed shot rattles the right hand post, and that's the best chance and the best effort on goal so far.
Wonderful effort, just seeing the replay of it now. He curls it in towards the far corner, slams off the post and goes out. Meanwhile, we have a suspected injury here on Bakana Margalashvili, who has been a real key threat up front for Georgia so far, and this doesn't look good for him. He went down just short of the attacking dashed line. He's holding his right angle. The referee's helping him up to his feet now. He hobbles away. Doesn't look very comfortable at the moment as he goes back into his own half. But he has been one of the standout men so far for Georgia. And they definitely don't want to lose him, not only because he's an influential player, because they've only got one substitute on the bench.
That's true. They've just lacking substitutes. They were going to have 2, but number 10 was taken out due to not being okay with the official B1 ruling for players. Sportingly, Georgia passed the ball back to the goalkeeper of Spain, and Gutierrez throws overhead down the right-hand side. Guerra forward, blocked by the defence. Might get a second opportunity, but brought out well by Georgia. Slalom run down the centre. A great run towards the edge of the D. Just falls to the ground as Margashvili. He gets a second opportunity. Lovely pirouette on the edge of the D, and he's going to get a free kick in a very dangerous position, exactly on the 8-metre penalty spot for Georgia. A wonderful run straight through the heart of the Spanish defence. And like I said, they're going to have a second opportunity, a free kick for Georgia, dead centre, 8 metres from goal, and a cracking opportunity to open the scoring.
He certainly is the key man up front, the number 7 for Georgia, Margashvili. And I think he knows it as well, but he's not letting that weight on his shoulders phase him one bit. First team foul of the game for Spain, and they've got a bit of a defending to do here. The first time, I think, that Georgia have got 2 players in the opposition half to take this one. It's midway between the attacking dash mark and the edge of the penalty area as well. Stood over it is number 7, Bachana Margashvili, who won that free kick, and just behind him is Georgi Bazilashvili as well, the smaller of the 2. It's a 4-man Spanish wall. The guy behind the goal just tapping the woodwork and making sure that the Georgian offensive players are well aware of the goal they are aiming at. It's going to be very difficult to beat Pedro Gutierrez. It may not be that far out, but there's a 4-man wall in front of them. Here they go, taking the free kick. Nice dummy back, and shot comes in just wide. For a moment there, Pete, I thought that was in. Margashvili with a strike just wide of the left-hand upright of Pedro Gutierrez's goal.
Yeah, caught it lovely from a central position, and the goalkeeper Gutierrez never moved an inch. Substitution for Spain, and coming off the field it will be number 3. And that's Guerra, and Guerra is replaced by number 6, Alfredo Acosta. So Acosta is on the field.
And Spain start from the back then. Bit of a let-off for them, 0-0. Georgia, the closest so far to scoring. Of course, Spain have hit the woodwork, but that was a real opportunity down the other end for Georgia. Now it's Martin with the ball, left side of the area, tries to square it across. Real opportunity for Spain here. As coming onto that one was Acosta, who's just come on as a substitute, perhaps hadn't found his feet by the time the ball got to him on the right corner of the box. Couldn't get his strike away. And back defending there was Margashvili, who is battling down the Georgian left-hand side, right up towards the halfway line. And the ball will go all the way back towards the Spanish goalkeeper Gutierrez, and they will once again start from the back.
We've reached the halfway point in this first half, and it's still goalless. But Spain have it on the left through Martin. He tries to switch play to find Acosta, who would do well to keep that in, and he doesn't, and it's going to be a restart for Georgia, who have been very impressive in this first 10 minutes or so. And to be honest, they've had the real opportunity of the match. I know Spain have hit the post, but that chance only a minute ago, which would flash wide the upright. The goalkeeper never moved. Across the halfway line goes Martin. Lovely close control. Stops on the broken line, central. Lovely drag back. Goes again towards the D. Shoots from distance, wide of the right-hand post. Only by a foot. But Martin, so far, he is the danger man for Spain off the bench. And he's really had an impact, but still goalless.
It certainly is, Pete. And your double-digit prediction isn't looking too wise at the moment. And the Georgians will certainly be loving that. And they're running forward now with Bazilashvili on the right-hand side, midway between the attacking dash mark and the byline. Runs in field but comes unstuck, however. And running forward with an advantage here are the Spaniards. And on the ball, difficult to see at the moment as he's crushed towards the board, is Munoz. He cuts inside, thinks he's fouled, but the referee thinks otherwise. Now Acosta coming forward, dead centrally, making his way out towards the left-hand side now. Very tall figure indeed. Shakarashvili for Georgia, who is the complete other end of the height spectrum, comes across to try and lock horns with him. It's a 2-on-2 down that far side. The Spanish left. Spain trying switch the ball from left to right across the face of the penalty area. Coming across to meet it first, though, is Bavilashvili, and he does really well to turn away on the left-hand side and clear the ball down the line. Spain will have to start from square one, and they look as if they're building up quite nicely. Ball to the left is good. They run forward down that left-hand side. Bit of a collision there between the two. Martin smashing into the Georgian centre-back, Georgi Prichiashvili, and it looks like the latter has come off worst on the right corner of the Georgian area.
Yeah, the player's lying prostrate on the floor, on his back, now getting to his feet, which is good to see. There's a real collision there, which does happen. I don't think the referee, Christian Young, has gave a free kick. It's going to be a restart by the goalkeeper of Georgia, so Voy was called. So there's no infringement there. I think it's going to be almost a drop ball in the centre, and then I think Spain are going to give it back to the goalkeeper. So he just throws it to the ground, and it's going to be passed back to the goalkeeper. I think just there's going to be a change of football here. So one of the balls just being replaced, and the goalkeeper will restart. Like I said, Voy was called, so no fouls. It's sometimes in blind football that happens, two players colliding, and it's neither of the players' fault at all. Long throw down the left-hand side for Georgia. Intercepted, though, by Acosta. Acosta, central position, edge of the D. Can't get a shot off because there's two Georgian players climbing all over him, and it runs out for a goal kick. An example of the scrambled defence for Georgia. All the players get attracted to the ball. They don't leave themselves, or they do leave themselves open on the far sides, but so far Spain haven't used that as a tactic, and the scrambled defence has worked a treat for Georgia, who bring it out to halfway. Maglashvili, really good close control, drag back over to the right-hand side, past the broken line, up against Lopez. Does well, goes past Lopez, and then just loses control as he approached the D. Lopez now for Spain, inside his own third, left-hand side. Lopez brings up to halfway, but Kashlashvili turns and says something to the Spanish bench. Not happy at all, the giant number 7. Maglashvili, he's saying to Christian Young, the referee, it wasn't me. And he says to the Spanish bench as well, after they appealed for this free kick, and I think the referee's just going to have a word with the bench as well to say, look, I'm in charge. Team foul number 3 for Georgia. That's infringement by Maglashvili. So free kick to Spain just outside of their own broken line. It's taken up to the halfway, played forward along the ground, but with all these Georgian defenders back, it's intercepted by number 6, Bavilashvili, who's been very impressive in this game. Comes over halfway, full mop of hair, lovely drag back through the legs of the Spanish midfield, and now he bulldozes his way to the edge of the area. He still has the ball, being pushed off it by Lopez, who's much the taller individual, and he wins it back for Spain. But there's no one in the Georgian half at the moment. A drag back and a back heel by Lopez finds Martin, who is only standing behind him, and that's with the substitute Acosta. Acosta versus Bavilashvili, and the Georgian midfielder comes off the best again, and all 4 defenders are back for Georgia, and they're saying to the Spanish, come at us and we'll tackle the ball off you, just like Bavilashvili does there. On halfway, finds himself on the edge of the D, shot on goal, he doesn't make good contact. A real good opportunity there for Bavilashvili and Georgia, and now the counter-attack is on through Lopez. Switches play on from the right to the left, over halfway, Martin can't pick it up, and now the ball's going to the other end of the field. There's no Georgian players forward, so it runs straight through to the Spanish keeper, and it's still goalless after 13 minutes.
What a commendable performance this has been from Georgia. Remember, this is their first ever game at a major tournament, and they are playing multiple-time European Cup winners in Spain. So far, the Spaniards have been restricted to very little. They have it on halfway now, do Spain, with their number 6, Acosta, wriggling his way into the centre circle, but is dispossessed by Maglashvili down the right-hand side. It'll be a tight angle for a shot, but there's no one up with him to support, and he runs the ball out of play in the end and concedes the ball, which Spain will restart play with. Pedro Gutierrez down the right-hand side. Now it's Adolfo Acosta over halfway. It's a clash of the number 6s. Bavilashvili trying to come on top. Such a terror in the midfield, and he's won the ball again as Bavilashvili, right-hand side of the box he shoots, doesn't take a deflection, goes harmlessly out of the Spanish near post. As far as Pedro Gutierrez is concerned, he restarts play.
Yeah, Gutierrez throws down the line to the right-hand side, and Acosta on halfway goes back into his own half. Only one man forward, and that's Martin. The ball nearly found him, but it was intercepted by a combination of Shakashvili and Petrashvili, and it's the former who comes over halfway. Down the right-hand side, just runs over the ball. There's no men forward for Georgia alongside Shakashvili, who's broken from defence. He's still got it on the right-hand side, kickboard inside Spanish territory. All men back for Spain, and they might need to change that tactic as we approach half-time. Here goes Martin over Spain, over halfway, central position, goes past 3 men, although pushed out wide by the Georgian defence. Martin still with a chance on the edge of the D, but that runs off a Georgian player. No, in fact, a Spanish player. And it's going to be a corner, so I think I was right with the first time. Plenty of players move towards halfway, but the referee eventually indicates it's going to be a corner from the right. And Spain had their best opportunity from a corner through Martin. I think the referee, again, Christian Young, just coming over to the Spanish keeper, and actually behind him, he's having a word with the Georgian coach. And I think he's just saying to the Georgian coach there, you can only tell people what to do and give instructions and help once they're inside that final third, indicated by the broken line. It's going to be a Spanish corner from the right-hand side. Lopez will receive the ball. We have less than 5 minutes to go until half-time. Lopez stops, and now Acosta inside the D, shoots left-footed into the back of the nets. Cracking goal for Spain. It was Acosta from the corner, went straight into the D, and from 5 yards out, got it onto his left foot, past the goalkeeper, who was rooted to the spot, 2 knees on the floor, went inside the near post, and Spain lead by 1-0.
Really unfortunate for the Georgians, you have to say, but a wonderful goal from Adolfo Costa, wriggling his way in from the right-hand side of the area, getting into a central position and unleashing a cracking left-footed shot into Mandario's bottom left-hand corner. And I wish I could say, Pete, it has been coming. It hasn't. It's been a very even game, and Georgia eventually, very resolute, broken down.
Yeah, they changed the tactics on the corners. Martin earlier, he had the right idea, very direct into the D and take a shot, hit the post. This time it was Acosta doing the same from the right, and because the goalkeeper was rooted to the spot, it went in the near post, beating for pace, and Spain lead. But here come Georgia. Downfield, trying to bulldoze his way through. Number 6, Bashlasvili, into the D. Can't get a shot off on goal. The goalkeeper did well and was brave, came out to the edge of his 2-metre square. It's over the left-hand side corner. Bashlasvili once again turns, shoots straight at the keeper, puts his hands in front of his face and parries it away. Panic stations in the defence for Spain, and they look to clear their lines through goal scorer Acosta. Up to halfway, over to the left-hand side. He's got Martin for company. Tries to play it down the line for Martin, but there's too much on that, and out of play for a goal kick.
Mandario will start from the back then. 3 minutes to go until half-time. 1-0 to Spain. Acosta, this man on the ball now. Yellow trainers coming forward, trying to put his way through the heart of the Georgian defence. It's Marglashvili coming away with it on the right-hand side, the number 7, over halfway. Manages to get goal side of a couple of Spanish defenders. It then ultimately goes all the way through towards the goalkeeper, and a nasty collision behind Gutierrez there between Georgi Bashashvili and the post. He banged his forehead there, did the Georgian number 6, onto the post, and that is why he's clutching at that mop of hair that Pete so aptly described earlier on. A nasty collision into the upright.
Yeah, nothing untoward happened there. Gutierrez just put his leg down to stop the ball, and the attacker went over the ball and clashed heads with the post. But remarkably, he seems absolutely okay. Game's underway. Played down the left-hand side for Spain. Can't be controlled by number 9, Martin. And that goes out for a goal kick. So Spain lead by that 1-0 with 3 minutes to go in this first half. Back underway, Georgia down that left-hand side. Bashashvili's recovered from his collision with the goalpost. He's inside Spanish territory, and he's really got the bit between his teeth, and he's got himself a free kick inside the Spanish half on the left-hand side. Hasn't got to the broken line as yet, but I think that's meeting with the post earlier has really fired up the Georgian number 6. So the referee once again goes over to the touchline, pushing, caused by number 4 Lopez for Spain. That's the second team foul for Spain. Only 3 minutes to go, so there'll have to be something out of the ordinary for any penalties to be given in terms of team fouls. It's 3-2 currently to Georgia on that front, but the all-important scoreline is 1-0 by Spain. Now there's 4 men in the wall for Spain here, and yet they're outside the broken line, a yard in from the left-hand kickboard. It's going to be Bashlashvili to take it. He leaves it for number 7, Marglashvili, who drifts over to the right-hand side, goes past 2, runs into the 3rd Spanish player. Lovely little pirouette on the edge of the D. Can't get a shot off on goal. Lovely close control. But again, once they get into that position, they need to get a shot off on goal. And Bashlashvili didn't manage to do that from a cracking position. Central edge of the D. And now it's Spain down the right. Goal scorer Acosta up past the broken line. 2 men for company. Stops. Got himself between the ball and the defence. Tries to drag it back. He's got men for help behind him and square. And the referee, Christian Young, again has given a free kick. And it's going to be against Acosta. So free kick to Georgia. And Christian Young will now come over and give his indication. So caused by number 6 Acosta. Looks like it was for holding, and that will be a personal foul. So it won't go down as a team foul for Spain. So it's still 3-2 in terms of team fouls. Game underway, and it's that mop head Bashlashvili for Georgia up to halfway. Goes past Martin, who brings him down, and that's going to be a free kick. And I'd be surprised if this doesn't go down as a team foul. And in fact, the referee just having a word with the Spanish bench as well. But it's the most obvious foul I've seen in these first 4 games.
Bashlashvili, absolutely brilliant all the way through this first half. I've absolutely loved him scurrying around the surface, bulldozing into whoever comes into his wake. He really puts his body on the line, and he wins his team a free kick. Couple of metres over halfway. On the right-hand side, he stood alongside another very impressive Georgian this afternoon, Bachana Marglashvili. And it also has to be mentioned, you can also see the shadows on the pitch. The heat is brilliant here in this arena, something we haven't been used to in the first 24 hours of these championships. But myself and Pete in the sun at the moment, absolutely lapping it up here. Spain leading by 1-0. Can Georgia get an equaliser before the break? The answer's no after that effort from Bachana Marglashvili. Wriggled his way to the byline on the right-hand side. Tight angle. Couldn't hit the target. Yeah, Gutierrez, the goalkeeper, rolls it out to the left-hand side, finds Lopez. Lopez is slow going to the halfway line. He's tackled by 7, Marglashvili, who now launches a counter-attack. He's inside the final third. Only 2 men back for Spain. He's got Lopez for company on that right-hand kickboard. Lovely close control. Dragbacks takes him away from Lopez. Shot high over the top of the crossbar. Good effort there by Marglashvili, and this time managed to get a shot off from all that good play and close control. If only he did that a matter of seconds ago from the edge of the D. Timeout called, and we only have a couple of minutes left inside this first half. And what a first half it's been. Spain leading by 1-0. That goal by Acosta. But Georgia have really made an impression on this championships. Yeah, they absolutely have. Georgia have been brilliant so far, but no doubt their coach, Ilya Kiprashvili, will not be settling for that. He'll want a little bit more from his players. So far, the 2 outstanding players, number 6, Bashlashvili, and number 7, Marglashvili, have been wonderful. And Spain are going to have to up their game if they're to come out of this one with a sizable goal difference.
Yeah, Spain timeout here. So a minute, they'll go to the side and try and sort out the last remaining plays of this half. And it'll be interesting for both sides. I think Georgia will be thinking, look, let's go for the equaliser in these dying seconds of the first half. And Spain, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's let's get in at half-time, 1-0 to the good, and then we can regroup.
Well, both teams regrouping now in their respective halves. Of course, Spain away to our left and Georgia away to our right. The officials, the 2 officials on the pitch, just making sure that both teams' players have their blindfolds on correctly, and as ever, of course they do. And Spain will start from the back with Pedro Gutierrez in his light blue top, black shorts and blue socks with a yellow hoop on there as well. Bowled out towards the right hand side then, and the number 6, who is Acosta, plays it over the halfway line towards the left-hand side. Battling really well for possession is Martin, but he manages to get away towards the edge of the penalty area. Clear side on goal. He slams it in past an unsighted Trady Mandario and doubles Spain's lead just before the break. Georgia looking very frustrated with themselves, conceding that one right in the dying embers of that half. Wonderful, tenacious work from Antonio Martin, beating 3 players in white on the left, came in off the board and slammed it in on the left corner of the area. Spain 2, Georgia 0. Just before the half-time whistle is about to sound as well. Only a couple of minutes to go, and Georgia restart 2-0 down, and you have to say it's not really deserved. So Basilashvili, left corner of the area, he's got 2 players in red just following him all the way. Georgia managed to get a corner for their efforts on the near side there left, and coming to take it will be Basilashvili, the number 6, and also will be the number 7, Marglashvili, as well. So those 2 on the near side, trying to negotiate a route towards Pedro Gutierrez's net.
Yes, if there's any justice, they'll be getting a goal back here for the Georgians. Taking his corner from the left-hand side. Still down that left corner. Eventually try and square the ball over towards Basilashvili, who's going to have to recover back on the broken line. Right-hand kickboard in front of the Spanish bench. Beats the first person, still by that kickboard. Across comes Lopez, beats Lopez, trying to get to his feet. Basilashvili on the edge of the D, slides, catches the goalkeeper, who writhes around in agony. It just rolled away from the centre forward. The goalkeeper's down, holding his leg, and unlucky there by the centre forward. Just ran out of steam, and a yellow card's been awarded, so it will also be a team foul as well to Georgia. Yellow card given to Georgi Balashvili, number 6 for Georgia. And the goalkeeper will eventually get to his feet. But he did ever so well getting away from the kickboard, stumbled, and then just as he was about to pull the trigger, had to slide in desperation, caught the goalkeeper on the knee, inside of his goalkeeping square. And again, obviously the player didn't know the goalkeeper was there. But once you get towards that towards the goalkeeping square, the indication should be given by the coach behind the goal, and dangerous play was awarded for Spain, and it will be a yellow card given to number 6, Georgi Basilashvili. And he's had an amazing first half, and a yellow card, it will be a real shame if his over-enthusiasm possibly picks up a second yellow card. It would be a real shame for a player who has had a real impact on this game.
He's got every right to go for that ball though, Pete. Gets to the left corner of the goalkeeper's 2-metre rectangle, and Georgi Basilashvili just swings towards the ball. Nothing more, nothing less. And the goalkeeper, who was on the perimeter of his area there, it has to be said, certainly got one hell of a beating from a man for Georgia, who has been a catalyst of everything good that they have done so far in this first period. But it is Georgia trailing by 2-0. Not long left to go at all in this first half. And Spain will restart on the edge of their area, passing it out towards the right-hand side. And Acosta, he's got his back towards the halfway line. He turns now and just clips it high towards the far side, the left. Martin goes for the ball. He fells Marglashvili of Georgia there. Coming across was his teammate Basilashvili, and he sticks it out for a corner ball for Spain on their left-hand side with a minute to go in this first half. So taking that one will be Antonio Martin alongside Javier Munoz, who's come up from the back. Here is Martin trying to wriggle in towards the near side of the area. Almost got thrashed past 3 white shirts there, but the last of them, Marglashvili, manages to stride away with the ball towards halfway. Now, will there be one last sting in the Spanish tail at the end of this first half? Can Georgia half the arrears? Bachana Marglashvili still with possession on the left-hand side, but eventually outnumbered and dispossessed by a combination of Adolfo Acosta and Ivan Lopez. Here's Antonio Martin now, just left of centre, coming over halfway towards the attacking zone, goes back inside, dead central now, working his way out to the right side of the penalty area. Georgi Basilashvili comes across and manages to see the ball out for a corner for Spain, this time on the near side there right. Can they get the third one before this half is out? Not long left to go at all. Standing over the ball will be Adolfo Acosta, and once again joining him is Javier Munoz. The referee just making sure the 3 Georgian players closest to the ball are a sufficient distance back. So here's Acosta going back towards the dashed line. He manages to make his way from right all the way towards the left, leaves the ball for Martin, who clashes into the ball, and then a bit of a tussle going off between him and Georgi Piastrashvili there. The latter really not holding back at all as he just clashes in to Martin. And another set piece for the Georgians to defend here. Maybe they're just losing their discipline a wee bit towards the back end of this first half. Of course, frustration will very much be prevalent. Remonstrating with the officials on the far touchline is Ilya Kiprashvili, the coach of Georgia, who certainly wasn't happy with that decision. Maybe Georgia just have to get to half-time, make sure they don't concede any more fouls. This is their 5th team foul now. And it will be taken on the left-hand side. Four-man wall for Georgia. Over the ball for Spain, tight left-hand side. Is this man Martin, dribbles his way in field. Shot comes in low and it's well parried by Mandario. Back out to the left again in Acosta, just outside the area. But the half-time whistle sounds from the referee. As Spain leading by 2-0 against Georgia. A real firm start from the Georgians, deputising in an international competition for the very first time, and they kept Spain at bay for large periods of that first half. The closest to goal was Georgi Piastrashvili pulling out a great stop from towards Pedro Gutierrez's net. Spain hit the post before managing to finally break the deadlock. 2 goals for them then from Adolfo Acosta and Antonio Martin. Sees the half-time score here in Berlin. First game in Group B. It's Georgia 0, Spain 2.
Well, I think most people would have thought that Spain might score quite a lot of goals. In fact, one of those people who thought Spain might score a lot of goals in the first half is our main commentator. We stood here, a little while ago, before the beginning of the first half, and you were sort of adamant that this would be another high goal-scoring game, a bit like we witnessed with England versus Romania a little bit earlier on. That hasn't been the case. However, and it's not for the want of trying from Spain, Georgia have been brilliant.
They've been fantastic. They've been using a scramble defence, as I like to say, which basically means everyone go for the ball. Don't leave anyone to one side. Don't leave anyone in position. Everyone just go for the ball, stop the attack, snuff out the attack, and then launch a counter-attack. Some fantastic performances by the Georgians. In goal look very secure. But Georgi Piastrashvili, number 6, who's been given a yellow card already. What a performance he's had in the first half. Yes, given that booking, really for going for a ball that he maybe shouldn't have with the goalkeeper, injured the goalkeeper, but the real first half which Georgia have announced themselves on this championship, and Spain, they know they're in the game.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights, not just the goals, by the way, of the first half here. And this is what we've been talking about. Look at this. This is superb. Georgia have been doing quite a bit of this. They've had some fair amount of trickery on the ball themselves, and they've been unfortunate.
Yeah, the goalkeeper completely unsighted, and how close is that? You need to repaint that post, and Maglashvili there, and him alongside one or two others have been guilty of not taking their opportunities in terms of shooting, and through their good play. Look at that for skill. Lovely drag back through the Spanish defence, but they've not pulled the trigger when they've had the opportunities.
We talked about Basilashvili, though. He and Jonathan mentioned him in commentary, just steamrolling through people. It did take a while, but Acosta did open the scoring for Spain.
Yeah, Acosta from a corner. They had a corner only minutes earlier from the other side, the left-hand side, where Martin managed to dribble straight into the D, and his shot hit the post. Acosta did exactly the same this time. Instead of going towards the broken line, you can see here, he stops and then goes straight into the D, gets the angle to then hit it at the near post with his left foot. and he beats the goalkeeper who never moved at all. So similar positions, but this time instead of hitting the post, it went into the back of the net.
And again, a wonderful little drag back a couple of moments ago in this replay, and again down low to the goalkeeper's left-hand side. And second goal, well, we waited quite a while for the first. The second wasn't long in coming after that.
Alfredo Martin, I was amazed actually he wasn't in the starting lineup, and you can see there, straightforward, lovely skill on the left-hand kickboard, drag back again, got into a central position, shot from distance, beat the goalkeeper again, who's got a bit of a tendency, I've noticed, to jump down onto his two knees. So if it goes either side of the goalkeeper, he's going to be in a lot of trouble if he's jumping down on two knees. No time to react and to move either side, and you saw there into the back of the net, low, and if the goalkeeper's still on his feet, I think he might have got to that one.
So only the 2 goals scored by Spain so far. But again, Pete, how it's going to take a lot of effort from Georgia to play at the intensity and the tempo that they have been playing at so far. Can they manage that for the entire game?
I think they can. What I would like to see Georgia do is commit a player further downfield at all times. Instead of having the 4 at the back, which yes is working at the moment, is when they break, they're breaking from deep. We know they've got the close control skills now to create a chance on the edge of the area. What I'd like to see Georgia do is have a man up top, so when they clear their lines, they can actually pick out a man up front. He can control the ball, and then he's one-on-one with either the goalkeeper or one defender from Spain, rather than having to dribble around every single player on the Spanish side.
Just taking another look at Martin's goal here, and you see the keeper just move slightly to his left, completely wrong-footed by the striker, and Martin finds Spain's second goal. There you see the balls that are used. We've got one right here on our desk, and for those that missed it a little bit earlier, Pete was explaining a little bit about the ball. Tell us some more about the ball used here at these championships.
In 11-side football, we would use a size 5. In blind football, it's a size 4, so slightly smaller. It does have 3 bells in the centre, which ring so the players know where the ball is. Hence the reason why blind football is played in silence. It's heavier than you would imagine, so you think a goalkeeper, they've got it easy in blind football. No, they don't. If you're running at full pelt towards the goal and you're only 3 or 4 yards out, hitting with all your might a football that weighs quite a lot, the goalkeeper, it's quite a dangerous position. We've already seen the Spanish keeper take a blow. Of course, the players, they don't know where the opposition goal is, and they don't know where the 2-metre square is. They've got to be given guidance by the guide behind the goal, and if that information isn't given to a centre forward, then you can then an incident that what happened in the first half, where Pashlashvili was over-eager and overstretched for the ball, and he can collide with a goalkeeper. So being a goalkeeper in blind football is a perilous position.
Okay, so the IBSA Blind Football European Championships, of course, only on day 2. In a couple of moments, we'll take a look at what's still to come in the next few days. This is our first glimpse of the Group B scenario. What's coming up a little bit later on in Group B as well. You notice the difference here, Pete, between yesterday's weather and today's weather. So the final game of day number 2, Turkey, the only other team from Europe to make it through to the Paralympics event, will take on Belgium. And a couple of people fancy Belgium might cause a few surprises themselves.
Yeah, 3 teams are by far clear in terms of world rankings in Group B. Turkey, Spain, who are leading at half-time by 2-0 against Georgia, but also Russia as well. Belgium, up-and-coming team, the Blind Devils. That's what Belgium are known as. Turkey will be the favourites, possible favourites of the whole tournament. They beat Spain in a 5th, 6th place playoff in Rio on penalties. But as we all know, the rules have now changed in blind football. The goals are bigger, the time gets stopped so the games last longer, and also the foul counts is not 3, it's now 5, and any more will be an 8-metre penalty kick. So I don't expect many 0-0s in this tournament. There has been plenty over the last 2 or 3 tournaments, hence the rule change. So we'll see how these teams, such as Turkey and Spain and also Russia, adapt to it. And maybe if the teams such as Belgium adapt better, they can cause 1 or 2 upsets.
Don't forget the Belgian team have the only female player of this competition as well. So whilst Pete will make his way over to the commentary position in a couple of minutes, the players themselves have started to make their way out. Don't forget, we've got the second half of Georgia versus Spain coming up and we've also got that game between Turkey and Belgium as well. So wherever you are watching us from, wherever in the world you are watching us from as well, whichever medium that you've chosen to use, thank you very much for tuning in. We're trying to take the sport of blind football as far as we can go, and at the moment every camera inside this wonderful venue is being trained onto the pitch. Pete, the differences between this European Championships and past European Championships, they're just getting bigger and better every time, aren't they?
Bigger and better. There's a qualification tournament now for the European Championships. Previously it used to be on world ranking, but now there's tournaments leading up to this, and teams such as Ireland haven't got here, Georgia, Romania, if they have a good year they can qualify for these major tournaments and then go on and maybe qualify for the World Cup. 4 teams will qualify for the World Cup. If you get through to the semi-finals, you'll be in Spain next year in Madrid. Of course, if Spain get to the semi-finals, it means that 5th, 6th place playoff game is going to be very important. So normally the 5th, 6th place, maybe it's just for bragging rights, but this time around you could be going to Spain next year.
Okay, big thank you to Peter Selby, who will mull up back to the commentary position. You can see the players on your screen making their way back onto the field. How much energy have Georgia got left? They spent quite a lot of it in the first half. A real hustle and bustle performance so far. And to take you through that second half, will Spain score double figures? Will Georgia climb their way back into this game? Here's Jonathan Bell and Peter Selby.
Thank you very much, Alan. And he touched on there, did Alan, about next year's World Cup in Spain. Well, it feels like we're in Spain at the moment with the weather we are getting in Berlin. Absolute wonderful sunshine kissing the pitch as both teams are out on it and ready for the second half. Georgia in all white with the red numbers on the back of their shirts, and Spain in the red shirts, navy blue shorts and red socks. They'll be kicking from right to left in this second half, looking to build on that 2-0 scoreline they have managed to already assemble. And the reason it's no more is because of the fact that Georgia have defended so well. They've not been too bad in the attacking zone either. However, they have not managed to beat Pedro Gutierrez in the Spanish net yet. So Georgia stood over the ball, ready for this second half to go. And it's that deadly duo of Georgi Bashashvili and Bachana Maglashvili who have been 2 outstanding players so far for Georgia in this game. Referee just making sure that the guides and the goalkeepers at either end of the field are ready for this second half to begin. And off we go. Georgia have possession with their number 7, Bachana Maglashvili, coming out towards the right-hand side, midway inside the Spanish half. 3 red shirts coming across to meet him. One of them is Jose Guerra. And it's good strength being shown by Bachana Maglashvili here, managing to keep the ball close towards the kickboard. Trying to worm his way in field now. Across is the tall, lanky Ivan Lopez, who manages to put a no-nonsense right foot through it and get things going on the right-hand side. Yusuf Al-Hadoui back on the pitch at half-time. He was substituted in the first period, was the Spain captain, and he's looking to make inroads in this second period here as well. He's dispossessed by Bashashvili, who comes down the right-hand side, marauding towards the byline. Has to make sure he doesn't go too far. The guy behind the goal will be shouting those instructions to him, and the ball eventually does go out, but it goes out in favour of Georgia, who have an early corner on the right-hand side. So going across to take it will be Bachana Maglashvili, with Giorgio Bashashvili close to him as well. And the latter should receive the ball from this set piece. Taken down the right-hand side, Bashashvili has it close towards the byline. It's a 2-on-2 here. Both of them looking to get their way away from the kickboard. Spain managed to break over halfway though and clear very efficiently indeed. The attack is on. It goes all the way through towards the byline, and it's a goal kick for Georgia. So early stages in this second half, still 2-0 to Spain. Bashashvili trying to maraud his way towards the heart of the Spanish defence. Spain with a bit of a diamond formation at the moment. At the back of it is Javier Munoz, and at the tip of it is Yusuf Al-Hadoui. And For Georgia, it's more of a back three and a front one, and that front one at the moment is Georgi Bashlashvili, still battling his way all on his own for Georgia towards the area, right-hand side of it. Shot comes in low towards the near post and into the side netting of Pedro Gutierrez's net. Still 2-0 to Spain, but a good start from Georgia, who have started this second half in a similar fashion to how they started the first. Down at the moment is Jose Guerra, who's, I think, just doing his laces on his right foot on the left corner of the Spanish box, which gives the Georgian defenders a bit of a time to talk to each other and confirm tactics and positions. And now back up to his feet with the helping hand of the referee is Jose Guerra, and we're ready for play to continue. And it is Guerra getting the ball on the left-hand side of the box. Can he put it across the face of goal? The answer is no. Just evaded his foot as he tried to get towards the byline. And Georgia start from the black, clearing upfield. Lopez not with the sufficient of feet on that one there, which means Marklashvili has position on the left-hand side now, on halfway, coming down the centre, running from left to right. Good running from the number 7 for Georgia, but again, whenever Georgia have a man up front, Pete, they're on their own.
Yes, that's the key thing for Georgia. They can't throw many men forward, but I mentioned to Alan at half-time about having at least one man up there, so when they do intercept the ball, then there is someone up there instead of having to do all the work themselves from defence, because there's going to be very energy-sapping if they're having to run the entire field and then finish the attack off. It's with Spain inside Georgian territory, and it's with number 3 for Spain, Guerra, on the near left-hand side. Of course, Spain shooting from right to left from our position now, opposite the benches. Guerra wins the ball back alongside Lopez. Lopez now over the halfway line for Spain. Central position, 3 men back for Georgia. Lovely drop back, taking 2 Georgian players away, and Lopez just at the point of impact gets pushed off the ball. No foul given, and it rolls out for a goalkeeping restart. Underarm throw downfield, and they have pushed the men forward. Bashlashvili is forward for Georgia. Tries to get the ball on the edge of the broken line. Has it back for Georgia down the right-hand side. Runs out of play, and it's going to be a goalkeeping restart for Spain. Overarm throw out by Gutierrez. Down the left, trying to find Guerra. Does so. Guerra on the halfway line, stops inside the centre circle. Guerra again stops, puts his foot on the ball. Lovely drag backs. He's not getting any further nearer to the goal. Now he puts the afterburners on, goes past the entire defence, and just as he was about to pull the trigger on the edge of the D, falls to the ground. And 3 white shirts bring it clear for Georgia. Over the halfway line, Georgia go. Can they get anywhere near the opposition penalty area? At the moment, it's drag back after drag back for Marklashvili inside the centre circle. Plays it down the right, but there's no one up front for Georgia at the moment. They're having to do all the work themselves when they bring the ball out. And then when they get towards the edge of the broken line, they haven't got any help with them. And that might be the problem for Georgia going forward. They're defending manfully at the moment. It's Spain with the roll out to the left-hand side, inside their own half, under no pressure at all. And it's Munoz. Good ball down the right, but can't be controlled by number 4, Lopez. And it will be a restart for Georgia.
Indeed it is, thrown out to the left-hand side, but immediately intercepting is Haladay. Right side of the area, shoots low and into the far corner of the net. Nothing that Trady Mandario could do to stop that one as it arrowed into his bottom right corner. Wonderful bit of play from the Spanish skipper, who just dribbled his way down the right-hand side of the box, got a bit of room, and Yusuf Al-Hadawi gets his first goal of these championships, Spain's 3rd of the game. They lead 3-0.
Yeah, the Spanish captain coming off the bench and really makes an impact in this second half. Crisp right-footed shot. Again, the goalkeeper going down on 2 knees and not being able to react if the ball goes either side of him. And it's the 3rd goal for Spain, and you just wonder how many goals it will take for the spirit of the Georgians to possibly break. And if so, that could open the floodgates for the Spanish. It's going to be a restart for Georgia. Cracking finish by El Hadawi. Straight down the centre goes number 11, Shakashvili, once again committing everything to a one-man attack. Been snuffed out by the Spanish defence. German defence, that was early on today. Shakashvili clears down the right-hand side. Picked up by the goal scorer El Hadawi, and Spain will be looking to increase the scoreline in a very, very competitive group with the likes of Russia and also Turkey in Group B. On the halfway line, though, for Georgia. Down the right-hand side goes Shaklashvili, stops as he gets towards the broken line. There is a man forward with him, and that's Bashlashvili. He tries to find him, intercepted by Hadawi, who goes into the Georgian half. Right-hand side stops, Georgian player slips, Al-Hadawi, and then a Georgian player sits on top of the ball, and I think there's either going to be a drop ball here or possibly a free kick to Spain, because it was the good play by the captain, Yusuf Al-Hadawi. He got just over the halfway line, stopped the ball, puts his foot on the ball, and the two Georgian players carried on their runs and then slipped over each other. They're just being helped to the feet. I think the decision might be possibly a drop ball or maybe giving the possession back to Spain, but that'll be very harsh on Al-Hadawi, who managed to get over the halfway line and through good skill, through the scent of two midfielders for Georgia. They followed the sound of the ball, but the ball was stopped through his good play. They fell over each other, and that was not the fault of Al-Hadawi. Both players just tying their boots up. But an early goal in this second half, just what Spain needed, and again they'll be looking to kick on and try and increase this scoreline. But then again, you do have to give a lot of credit to Georgia. Qualified in second behind Romania in the qualification events back in April for these championships. Only been playing blind football in the country since 2014. El-Hadawi just plays it down and out for a goalkeeping restart. Very sporting there by the Spanish, because they were under possession of the ball.
Georgia have the ball then, starting from the back. The referee's blown his whistle because there will be a substitution made by Spain. And I'm very excited about the man coming on. It's Sergio Alama, young player, but having seen him in training so far this week, he looks very good indeed. He's the number 7 coming on and replacing Yusuf Al-Hadawi. A defensive change also being made by the Spaniards as well. Off comes Ivan Lopez, and replacing him is Moses Gonzalez, who will be in the middle of that formation of 4. A bit of a strange formation being employed at the moment by Spain, sort of a 1-1-2. But nonetheless, Georgia will restart play from the back. Trady Mandario will start and throw it towards that left-hand side. And immediately getting onto the ball is Alamar down the right-hand side. And making sure he knows he's in a game is Georgi Bajlashvili. And he's forced Alamar all the way back into his own half on the left-hand side. And he's having to look for support, and he's given the ball to Javier Munoz, who takes over and plays it nicely low towards the left-hand side. Failed to be controlled by Jose Guerra, and the ball rebounds off the kickboard and out of play for a Georgian ball at the back.
Yeah, played out to the left-hand side. Maglashvili on the halfway. Plays it down the left-hand side. Not controlled by Bashlashvili, who's going to chase everything, but that runs out of play for a restart for Spain. Overhead throw down the left-hand side. Guerra has made his way forward, and he controls the ball this time around. Just lets it run again through his legs, and that runs out again for a goalkeeping restart. So Guerra should really have done better with that. He got the initial ball in control and prodded it too far forward. Bashlashvili again on the left, controls for Georgia. On the halfway line, left-hand kickboard. Tussling with the substitute, Sergio Almar. And he comes off better, does Bashlashvili. Gets into the heart of the Spanish defence and just falls over under his own speed. Guerra this time down the left for Spain. Over the halfway line, over the broken line. Gets to the edge of the D, stops. He's been pushed out wide by the defence. Across the other side of the D is Alamar. If Guerra can find him, he squares it to Alamar, who's had a wonderful chance if he can control the ball. He doesn't. He has to retrieve the ball from the kickboard on the right. Here goes Alamar, central position, broken line, stops. His drag back doesn't work, but he still has the ball. Again, central position. Two defenders come across and win it for Georgia, but Alamar is nothing but persistent, and he tries to wrestle a player to the ground, and I think he's successful in doing that, which means it's going to be a free kick, although the free kick decision by Kristen Young looks like it's gone to Spain, and a yellow card has been awarded, and that's been awarded to the number 11 of Georgia, and that's Shaklashvili. So I said it was a wrestling match between the two. Referee Kristen Young has decided that it was the Georgian player who did the wrestling. He won that wrestling bout, but he gets a yellow card for it, and it's going to be a free kick on the halfway for Spain.
First team foul as well for Georgia in this second half. So Spain have the free kick just over halfway on the left-hand side, close towards the kickboard. Stood over the ball is the combination of Javier Munoz, and just in front of him is Moises Gonzalez. Gonzalez has it now, prods it down the left-hand side, looking for Guerra. Guerra can't control the ball, however, and it rolls harmlessly out of play for a Georgian ball. Mandario will throw it out towards the right-hand side. Margashvili having possession, faced up by Guerra here. Those two tussling towards the halfway line, but good running from the Georgian number 7 towards the right side of the box. Last deflection came off Munoz, and it will be a corner on the near side for Georgia, and a chance for them to throw some bodies forward, something that they haven't done all too much in this game.
Yeah, great blind football there. Good attacking and good defending. It was Munoz back there for Spain, but a good attack by Margashvili once again. Just as he was about to pull the trigger, that's where the defender came across. So happens so often. Plenty of men forward here for Georgia, just the one back on the edge of his D. So 3 men forward. 2 players in a wall. Also, Sergio Alomar just lurking inside the D. Corner taken. Running to the area by Bashdashvili. Shot from an acute angle into the side netting. And it's going to be a goal kick for Spain. Long throw out by Gutierrez, long down the left-hand side, hits the kickboard, tries to find Guerra, but intercepted by the substitute. That's Petrashvili for Georgia. And they're inside their own third, left-hand side, runs straight into number 3, Guerra, on that left-hand side, and he wins it back for Spain. He's the only man in the opposition half, though, so he's in the centre circle, dribbles to the left, good close control by 3, Guerra, tries to come across towards the central position. He's now got help through Alomar, but it's still Guerra, shoots from distance, well blocked by the defence, and that's going to be a corner to Spain on the right-hand side. Good play there by Guerra, managed to get a shot off, but credit to Shakashvili, who slid in and managed to block the shot at the point of impact, and a corner to Spain from the right. First of all, a substitution coming off the field, and that will be the last bit of action for a while for Guerra. He looks like he's just hobbling as he goes off the field, and coming on to replace him is number 9 and goal scorer Antonio Martin for Spain.
And he will immediately go across to the far side, the right, to assist with this corner. So it's Moises Gonzalez with the foot on the ball, and just in front of him is Antonio Martin, who will receive this layoff. Referee blows his whistle, and the corner has been taken. So Martin running laterally from right to left, and now forward running. Oh, he scored from the right corner of the box. Just managed to pick a little pocket in front of him between the Georgian defenders and that bottom right-hand corner of Tradi Mandario's goal. And it just squirmed through the legs, I think, of number 11, Alexandra Shakarashvili. And Spain, home and hose now, 4-0 lead against the Georgians.
Yeah, wonderful goal there by Martin from the right-hand side. And if you hit the side netting on the left-hand side of the goal, it's going to take some effort by the goalkeeper to stop it now with these wider goals. 66 centimetres wider than previously in blind football. The goalkeeper must have been unsighted, never moved into the back of the net. It's 4 for Spain, 2 for Martin, but here comes the white of Georgia down the right-hand side. The tenacious Bashdashvili once again, but again, he's on his own up front, and it just runs out of play, and Spain will be looking to increase this lead. They've got plenty of time in this second half, 4 goals up, and they'll be looking to score more. Martin, lovely ball from the left-hand side inside his own half. Picks out on the right, Alomar. He's got 2 men in front of him in the D. Goes past one. What a goal for Spain! The wonder kid, Sergio Alomar, moved the ball out of his feet. A right-footed shot from the edge of the D. Nestles in the top left-hand corner. The goalkeeper never moved. It's 5 for Spain.
Well, that is exactly why I blew his ties up before this game, Pete. Wonderful bit of control from Sergio Alomar, shifting it from the left foot onto the right foot, right-hand side of the area, and blasted it across the face of Tradi Mandario's goal, and it actually wedged itself into the top corner of the net. Wonderful strike from him. Another angle here. He feints past the defender, goes from left to right, and just plonks it into the top corner of the net, and the leap into the air from Sergio Alomar says absolutely everything. I hope he was on the bench to be rested for games in future, because he certainly is a hot prospect.
Yeah, what a finish. You were absolutely right, Jonathan. You gave him the big build-up when he came on, and what a goal. Right-hand side of the D, nestled in the top left-hand corner. Again, the goalkeeper never moved, but here come Georgia once again. It's another one-man attack. Margashvili runs into the defence of Spain, and number 5, Moises Gonzalez, brings it out and passes it forward too far for the Spanish attack to manage to control the ball, and again the Georgian restarts, and the body language of the Jordan team, all of the players, you can see their shoulders have just slumped, and they've I'm not saying they've given up at all, but that fifth goal really has knocked the stuffing out of them. The ball's on halfway, two number 7s wrestling with each other in front of the dugout, and I think both players possibly have given away a foul here. Nothing's been given. Now the official points towards the Spanish net, so it's going to be a free kick to Georgia on the halfway. Referee now explaining the decision. Foul given against number 7, and that was goal scorer Sergio Alamar, and that's the first of his fouls, and also a team foul as well for Spain. Substitute for Spain coming off is number 11. It's Javier Munoz, and coming onto the field looks like Lopez in terms of size. In fact, it's number 6, Alfredo Acosta, goal scorer already, number 6. Very tall individual, along with Lopez, two of the taller individuals on the Spanish team. So free kick to Georgia. Silence is being asked for this crowd, many of who are sitting in glorious sunshine. We're absolutely cooking here in the commentary box. The free kick's going to be taken once again. I think actually it was a double tap, which means they've given away possession instantly, so Spain will take over free kick duties. It's on halfway, so it's not the biggest infringement in the world, but you don't want to be double tapping a free kick. It just means that you give it, like taking a foul free kick if you would have it. And Spain now will have possession, looking for goal number 6. Bringing forward is Acosta. Central position, past the broken line. Acosta, edge of the D, lovely close control. Shot from centre, straight at the goalkeeper from 12 yards. It comes out, and it could be another shot on goal, but the goalkeeper saves. No power by Alamar on that shot, and the goalkeeper simply bent down and picked the ball up. Throws it down the right for Georgia. Goes past one, does Saakashvili down the right-hand side, past the broken line. Turns, Maglashvili, shot from an acute angle right-hand side, goes wide of the near post by a good yard, but again, at least it was an effort on target. Throw out by Gutierrez for Spain, down the right, good control by Alamar. On halfway, now turns, try to play the ball forward towards Martin, but there was a Georgian midfielder right in front of him, and Maglashvili comes over halfway into a wall of Spanish players, runs straight into it, and now a counter-attack launched by Spain, and Alamar over halfway. He's the only man forward so far. Now he squares it for Martin, who has joined the attack. Martin by the left-hand kickboard inside Georgian territory, does exactly the same, switches play over to the right, back to Alamar, but he'd made his forward run early. Now he has to retreat the ball by halfway line. Squares it again to Martin, so they're just playing a bit of possession football at the moment. Martin down the left, stops, turns back to the broken line, under pressure from the midfield of Georgia, and Saakashvili wins it back. Illegally, says the referee, and it's going to be a Spanish free kick just outside the centre circle inside the Georgian half.
Georgia have lost their grip on this game, unfortunately, Pete. They have had a wonderful start to the match. First half was pretty much faultless, conceded a couple of goals. That was to be expected. However, in this second half, things have gone a little bit loose, and they've conceded another foul. It is their second team foul of the second half as well, and Spain have a free kick just slightly to the left of the centre circle in Georgian territory. Stood over the ball is Moises Gonzalez, to be joined now by Antonio Martin.
Yeah, it's the second team foul for Georgia, as you said, and I'd imagine that tally might creep up towards the end of this second half.
So a short free kick taken for Martin to run down the right-hand side and shoot, try and angle one towards the near post. It does go wide of Tradi Mandara's left-hand upright. Georgia have now called a time-out, and maybe, Pete, they've sort of maybe somehow listened to our commentary and echoed our thoughts there, that Georgia were losing their grip on this one. They need to just calm things down, take a bit of a time-out and regroup. They
were just looking a bit ragged there in the last 2 or 3 minutes. They'd lost their composure. They're playing a scramble defence, which you'd say is not the most controlled way of defending the game of blind football, but they just started to lose their temper in midfield, and Spain able to knock the ball around inside the Georgian territory, squaring the ball right to left, left to right, something that wouldn't have happened in the first half.
Well, the Georgia team are talking next to the advertising hoardings, and one thing that isn't on the screen at the moment is number 6, Georgi Bashashvili, who is just slumped with his back down alongside the advertising hoardings. He sat down looking very fed up indeed with the result more than the performance. He's been excellent so far in this game. I think the trainer's just having a word with him now as he takes on some water and eventually gets back to his feet. But the Spaniards, they've got their mojo back. They're a lot more in this game as they were in the first half. They looked under the cosh for a lot of that first period, but now they've definitely got this one signed, sealed, and for them delivered. 3 points should be registered at the end of this game in what is known as the group of death. Russia, Turkey, Belgium also in this group. Only 2 of them can progress to the semi-finals of these championships. The game back underway then. Georgia have the ball with Bashlashvili, who looks as determined as ever to get his team back into this game. Turns on halfway. Too much of a heavy touch from him though, and he collides into the left ankle of Moises Gonzalez, and that may be his second yellow card, which would be very unfortunate indeed. It is a red card for Georgi Bashlashvili, and we did say just a couple of moments ago he was looking pretty fed up with the scoreline. He was slumped alongside the advertising hoardings. Wasn't a great bit of body language from him during that timeout, and now he has been dismissed for a second bookable offence. He absolutely smashed into the ankles of Moises Gonzalez. Georgia down to 4 players. They've got it all to do anyway. 5-0 down, and with a man less as well. You did say earlier on, Pete, it'd be a shame, despite all his tenacity and his enthusiasm, that he would get 2 yellow cards in this game. He has now, and he will miss the next match.
Well, I hate to blow our own trumpets, but you were bigging up the substitutes for Spain, Sergio Alomar, who scored a wonder goal. And I did mention the fact that number 6, Bashlashvili, is risking a red card, and both have actually happened. And this will make for a very intriguing final few minutes, because Spain will be looking to increase their goals scored column dramatically against Georgia in a group, remember, with Turkey and also Russia. Only 2 qualify from the groups through to the semi-finals. So racking up a really big scoreline against Georgia with the greatest of respect. Going off the field is number 5, and that's Moises Gonzalez, the substitute for Spain. There's going to be a substitution there. Coming back on for Spain is number 7, Sergio Alomar. In fact, they've changed their mind. It's going to be Munoz coming onto the field of play, replacing the injured Gonzalez. So yes, Spain will be going for plenty of goals here, and then obviously it will be up to the other sides to match that score, and then maybe this league, this Group A, will be decided by the games between the big boys. You can see here the foul committed by Bashlashvili as the game gets underway with his fellow number 6, Acosta, who just goes straight downfield through the defence, shot on goal, saved by the keeper. It was straight at the goalkeeper from point blank range, around 6 metres out, and Acosta may be there showing a few things that will be happening in the last few minutes, because he just wandered through the defence. Only 3 men outfield for Georgia at the moment.
Well, I worry that's the sort of things to come for Georgia with the man less outfield. Spain are a superior outfit anyway. They don't need a man advantage. Sergio Alomar on the left-hand side, coming up towards halfway, leaves possession instead for Martin. He comes in field and returns the ball back to Alomar. This will be a wonderful team goal if this comes off. A last-ditch attempt coming in from Alexander Shakarashvili there, managing to illegally challenge the ball just outside the edge of his own penalty area. This is going to be a dead central free kick for Spain, and licking their lips ahead of this one, Antonio Martin, the number 9, and number 6, Adolfo Acosta.
Yeah, it's important for Spain to get off to a winning start, but what we don't want really is an avalanche of goals and really diminish the spirits that Georgia have shown. Yes, they're going to be missing Bashlashvili for their next game, and with only 1 player on the bench, they might be very short of numbers. We don't want any injuries at all for any players in this tournament, but any now for Georgia would really be problematic in their future games. The referee is just saying to the coach behind the goal, can you just wait until the wall has been moved, and then you can give your instructions to the individuals taking this free kick. Standing over the ball is Acosta, but he looks like he's going to roll the ball forward for Martin. Crowd goes silent. One man in the wall for Spain. All three outfield players for Georgia. The goalkeeper standing slightly to the left-hand side. 2 posts being tapped by the coach for Spain behind the goal to signify where the posts are. We might also tap the crossbar as well. I think the Christian Young now, the referee, just telling the goalkeeper he can't say anything at all while this is going on. He's just telling Acosta, who's in the wall actually, just to move forward. So Munez. So the final post being tapped. Possibly the crossbar as well. No. So it's going to be Acosta. Rolls it for Martin. Dead centre, 10 yards out, hits the wall. Squirms over to the left-hand side, picked up by Munoz. Munoz up there in attack. It's 3-on-3 at the moment inside the Georgian half. Push back to the halfway line. And Martin wrestling the ball back for Spain. Here goes Munoz, who goes to ground. Foul caused by number 11, Shakashvili. And these fouls are really racking up, and are possibly another card as well. Martin's not happy at all for Spain. Having words with the referee. He's indicated a chopping movement, and it's going to be a free kick to Spain.
So Spain with yet another set piece, this time a lot further out than the last one. Just left of centre, on the centre circle, with again that same combination of Adolfo Acosta stood just behind Antonio Martin, and then the game has been stopped, I think for a timeout, and I think it's the Spaniards that have called this one.
That's correct, Spanish timeout, and I think they're just going to gather their thoughts and say, look, the opposition are down to 3 outfield players. We can really get some goals here to get us in a great position after our first game, and they're just going to discuss their tactics, maybe pushing 1 or 2 players further forward. And well, the conversation on the Georgian bench is going to be very different indeed. In fact, not all the players have actually come over. Plenty of gesticulation with their arms, not happy at all. They can have no qualms really about the decisions being made. I think it's more out of frustration than anger about the decisions.
But they do have to make sure, Pete, that Georgia, they pick up the discipline, because in the last time out, you had Georgi Bashlashvili going off, slumping himself alongside the advertising holdings, not being a part of the team talk at all, and then a few moments later he gets his second bookable offence. Yes, the result is frustrating. Georgia have been very much better than the scoreline is suggesting here at 5-0 to Spain, but they've got to make sure they keep their spirits high and they're not demoralised by the scoreline, because the performance has been at a level that they would have wanted. But now they've only got 3 outfield players against Spain's 4, and they look very much indeed dispirited, disgruntled, and on the verge of a heavy defeat, which was not on the cards at the halfway point of this match. So free kick for Spain, just left of the centre circle. Coming for is Martin, low shot, saved by the right foot in the end of the goalkeeper Mandario in the Georgia net, which sort of shows how weak an effort it was, the fact that it was being able to be saved by the foot rather than the hands. The ball is then cleared down the other end of the field, out of play, and Pedro Gutierrez will start from the back. Bowls it out towards the left-hand side, just over halfway. Martin turns into a bit of room down the left-hand side. He's got 3 white shirts around, he gets past them all and just fires it wide of the far post. It was a wonderful individual run by Antonio Martin, took on all 3 of the Georgian defenders, wormed his way into the penalty area, and from just outside the goalkeeper's 2-metre rectangle, fired it wide of Tradi Mandario's left-hand post. Great dribbling skills from him, and very unfortunate with the finish.
Maglashvili down the right for Georgia, just runs out of play, runs out of real estate. It's happened many times for Georgia. And now here comes Spain once again over the halfway line, right-hand side, just miscontrols does Alamar, gets a second opportunity, chance for a shot on goal, right-hand side of the D, comes back to a more central position, he's right-footed, so he's going to go again on the right-hand side, just trying to move the ball out of his feet. He's got Martin square, he finds Martin, who picks the ball up against the kickboard in the left corner, and the ball just runs out of play for a goal kick to Georgia.
And it will be indeed Georgia to restart play here. So, throw by Mandario in the Georgia net. He's more frustrated than anyone on the Georgia team about what's been going off in the last few moments, but still Georgia try and come forward and failing to do so as well. Martin rampaging through the Georgian defence once again towards the right-hand side of the area. It last came off Shakarashvili, and it will go out for a Spanish set-piece right-hand side.
Yeah, good play there by Shakarashvili. He followed the run of the ball and managed to get himself between the ball and the net, so any shot came in deflected off him. 7 minutes to go in this second half. Spain leading by 5-0. But if you've just joined us here in Berlin, the IBSA Blind Football European Championships Day 2, and Georgia are down to 4 men, so 3 outfield players and the goalkeeper. 2 yellow cards for number 6, Bashashvili. Shot on goal, it's an air shot by Alamar. He's going to have a second opportunity, goes back towards the broken line, now central position. He's got Martin to his right, he ignores him, goes himself to his left, dribbles past everyone, hits the post, comes back out towards Martin. But Alamar has to go back himself and regain possession. Leaves it for Acosta. Acosta, there's 3 men forward, it's 3-on-3 at the moment, and Acosta going down centre towards the edge of the D, pass 1, pass 2, chance for a shot on goal, scuffs it wide, a clean shot there, would surely have nestled in the back of the net. The goalkeeper didn't even close down the angle.
Yeah, it hit his right foot before it hit his left foot, and I think that sort of unsteadied Adolfo Acosta as he went to strike that one towards goal. A replay on the screen of Sergio Alamar's mazy run. He ran towards the right-hand side, got to the centre, checked back onto the left, and in the end was foiled very well indeed. By the upright. Now the chance is on again for Acosta, worming his way towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a sitting down tackle from Shakarashvili. Well, they all count. It was very important indeed there for Georgia to get the ball away somehow, because Acosta's looked very threatening recently, as has this man now, Alamar, cutting into the right-hand side, and fires one towards goal. It doesn't take a deflection and goes out for a Georgia goal ball. It's Mandario that will take it.
Yes, Mandario in goal, who, like Jonathan mentioned, is looking the most... Well, looks like the stuffing has been knocked out of him. His shoulders are low. Also, on that last attack, the shot was from all of 4 or 5 yards. It was scuffed wide, but the goalkeeper never even closed the angle. So, any attack for Spain and any shot on target, so I'll put good money on it going into the back of the net. 5-0 to the Spanish lead. So a big scoreline, but they'll be unhappy that they've not really increased the scoreline since a man has been sent off for Georgia. 3 men back for Georgia in their own third, by their own corner actually. Martin intercepts the ball for Spain, shot wide of the right-hand post, and the goalkeeper looks at the defence and says, "What are you doing? You're trying to walk the ball out of your own area, and yet you give the ball away to Martin, who's only 5 yards from goal. Long throw down the right-hand side. That's gone to no one in particular. I think the goalkeeper for Georgia has really lost the plot in the last few minutes. Just threw the ball away to no one in particular. Just get the ball downfield. Here comes Acosta for Spain. Over the halfway line, central position. 3 men forward for Spain. Acosta's going himself, shoots, hits a defender on the edge of the D. That goes out to the far right-hand side. It's stopped for going out of play for a corner. Clear their lines, do the Georgians down the right-hand side. Picked up by 11, Munoz for Spain. He's going to let the ball roll out of play for the goalkeeper, Gutierrez. And the players are streaming forward for Spain. They know how crucial it is to get more goals. And they're pointing at the goalkeeper to say, just play the ball downfield. There's plenty of men forward. Here comes Acosta, straight downfield. Acosta going between all the defenders, and again can't get a shot off on goal. Scuffs the ball at the point of impact. That's twice he should have scored, Acosta. And Georgia, just anywhere will do.
That certainly is the case for them right now. They do have the ball, and the defence has a wee bit of respite with Margalashvili going down the right-hand side. He's gone down as well. And has he got up yet? Well, the referee has gone down to talk to him next to the advertising hoardings. And he looks as if he's hurt his left knee there, Margalishvili. Well, he and Basilishvili have been the two standout players, particularly in the first half for Georgia. They've been the more of the attacking threat. However, one's suspended now, number 6. And Margalishvili on the floor. Looks like an injury problem. Could be cramp.
Yeah, this could be a real problem for Georgia. Maybe not just in the last few minutes of this game, but do remember they only had one player on the bench. So he goes into the starting lineup for the next game because of the suspension for Basilashvili. But if this current player down, number 11, Shaklashvili, if he is out of the next game, then they're down to 3 outfield players already.
Absolutely not ideal, and as great it is for the smaller nations like Georgia, like Romania to be at these championships, because they are recent blind footballing programs. They have very thin squads indeed, and they may have a lot of heart and a lot of desire and hope coming into these tournaments, but they don't have the strength and depth that teams like Spain have. And here they come again, Acosta into the area. Third opportunity in as many minutes towards goal there, goes straight into the hands of Mandario. Meanwhile, there is another injury, this time for Margalishvili's eyes, it seems. Maybe a finger in the eye, perhaps, from Acosta as we're going through there. We may have to get a replay of that to be sure. But one thing is for certain, Margalishvili, the number 7 for Georgia, is going through the walls at the moment.
Yes, it does. It's quite a common occurrence in blind football, the fact that a player puts his arms out and can actually catch another player in the eye with his hands. So just less than 5 minutes to go. And it's Spain with the ball down the left-hand side. And once again, it's the rampaging Martin down the left. Stops it from going out. Now dribbles into a central position. Shot on goal into the back of the net. Low into the right-hand corner. Martin once again. Good dribbling down the left-hand kickboard. Gets to the edge of the D. Cuts back into the centre. Low right-footed into the bottom right-hand corner. It's Martin's 3rd goal. It's the hat-trick for Antonio Martin. And it's the 6th goal for Spain.
Well, he could have had more than 3, to be honest. And a wonderful low shot into the bottom left-hand corner of Tradi Mandario's goal. There are 4 minutes remaining. And if you're to be correct with your double-figure prediction, Pete, that's a goal a minute. What do you reckon?
Well, it can happen. The despondency shown by the goalkeeper and a few of the players on Georgia, who have performed very admirably, I have to say. But I wouldn't be surprised if more goals are scored. But here comes Georgia at the other end. Shot on goal, well blocked by the defence. And that was travelling towards the goal. Great effort by Margalishvili, who's still trying to win the ball back for Georgia. It goes out of play for a goal kick. But that was going to trouble Gonzalez in goal. But Gutierrez in goal, who throws quickly down towards Matan, who once again cuts in from the left-hand side. Lovely drag back, chance for a shot on goal. Hits the goalkeeper's knees, who comes out to the edge of his goalkeeping square. Very lucky he didn't go out of the goalkeeping square, but well played by the keeper. Came out and narrowed the angle. Here comes Acosta trying to get another shot on goal, and the goalkeeper does well. Touches the ball, though, outside of his D, outside of his goalkeeping square. It's a penalty to Spain, and Acosta was very persistent down that left-hand side, and I was just saying the goalkeeper did well to narrow the angle with the initial shot, but this time just put his arm out. He couldn't help himself, could the goalkeeper, and he just touched the ball. It's going to be a team foul. So with 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, a chance for the 7th for Spain. It's going to be a penalty, and it's going to be Martin, who already has a hat-trick. And indeed it is the 5th team foul for Georgia as well, so more problems. Substitution coming off will be number 11, Munoz. Coming on is number 3, Guerra. So it's going to be Martin with this penalty. Martin, right-footed. Just tapping the ball so he knows where it is. So it's going to be a right-footed effort by Martin. Referee comes over. So the 5th team foul for Georgia, so any more will be an 8-metre penalty kick. This is from the 6-metre penalty spot on the edge of the D. So Martin, 3 goals to his name, 6 for Spain. Can he make it 7 with only 2.5 minutes remaining? Martin, right-footed goalkeeper, just one hand on his hip. It was his error by handling the ball outside of the area. The ball was there, and he reached out and grabbed it. Knew instantly when he put his hand on top of the ball that he'd made a real error. Referees were right there on the spot. Really good officiating. Got the best referees in the world here. Left-hand post has been tapped. Now the right-hand post, and it will be Martin from the penalty spot. So Martin, right foot on the ball. His right arm now, so he knows where it is. Just touching the ball with his right hand. Takes one step back. Martin from the penalty spot. Scores for Spain, high in the top right-hand corner. It's 7 for Spain, 4 for Martin. And it's a rout here in Berlin.
Yeah, wonderful penalty as well. The third penalty we've seen today. Spain clinical from the spot. You would expect no different from Martin. And a chorus of Spaniard chants as well coming from the stands. A happy, sunny second half for Spain, who lead 7-0. And Georgia will start us from the centre.
Okay, silence, please, silence.
So, 2 players standing over the ball. One of them is Bachana Marglashvili, who has it now, looks to try and restore some pride for Georgia, running down the right-hand side, and his back is Martin. Not only is he good at the front, he's good at the back as well. And he manages to help put the ball out for Pedro Gutierrez's ball. Throws it forward for Sergio Alomar on the edge of the centre circle, turning round in a 360 shape at the moment, then goes down the right-hand side, looks to thread the ball forward for Guerre. It ricochets back to him via the shins of Shakarashvili, down that right-hand side. He squares it across the face of goal. It deflects backwards into the path of Martin. They're going to have to communicate here and decide which one's got it. It's going to be Guerre, who hasn't had the best of games for Spain, I have to say. He's coming down the centre now. Checks back onto his left foot. Good tackle coming in from Marglashvili. He looks to break down the left-hand side. It's a battle of the number 7s with Sergio Alomar going down that side as well. The referee in the end says enough is enough, and it's a foul from the Spaniard Alomar in favour of Marglashvili, and Georgia have a bit of respite with a set-piece situation on their left-hand side, just outside their defensive territory. So this will be taken right next to the kickboard on the Georgian left, and an announcement there of a team foul for Spain, which is their second team foul. Shouldn't really see them go anywhere near to the 5-team foul mark. Of course, Georgia perilously close to conceding an 8-metre penalty here. Their next team foul will be an 8-metre penalty for Spain, but for now it is the team managed by Ilya Kipshevili, who trail by 7-0, having the ball. The referee just making sure at the other end of the field that Antonio Martin's laces are tied. Indeed they now are, and Georgia can restart play on that left-hand side, just a few yards short of halfway. Marglashvili, the one that Georgia are relying on to dribble the ball forward. He concedes possession to Jose Guerre. Then it's a foul from Marglashvili, and that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back here. It's going to be a card issued by the referee. It's a yellow card for Marglashvili. Remember, 2 yellow cards in this group stage means an automatic suspension for the next game. A red card, a straight red card, is a 2-match suspension. So that is another team foul, and it's going to be an 8-metre penalty for Spain. Can they get an 8th one? Stepping up this time around as Adolfo Acosta from the spot. It's going to be the man with the white sweatband around his head, with the yellow trainers as well. Goodness knows what size his feet are, but they must be going on to around size 15. They are very big feet indeed. I would not want to be Tradi Mandario in the Georgian net right now, because I suspect this will be a very strong drive indeed towards goal from Adolfo Acosta. He's had a couple of missed opportunities in this second half to build on the 1 goal he got in the first. The guard behind the goal in the white t-shirt and the cream-coloured shorts, just tapping the goalpost at either side. which you may be able to hear. Certainly a loud din echoing around the stadium, and Adolfo Acosta will be very receptive to that indeed, as he will step up now towards the ball with the right foot, and it's straight at the goalkeeper, Tredi Mandaro, and Spain will still come forward. They shoot towards goal again, straight at the goalkeeper. This time Jose Guerra with the shot midway inside the Georgian defensive zone, and that penalty there from Adolfo Acosta, just lacking the accuracy into the corners required. Good power on it. If it had gone into those corners, which it didn't, then it would have probably been an 8 Spanish goal. Meanwhile, Guerra trying to bundle his way towards the edge of the Georgian box. Cleared away, though, from that back three that Georgia now boast. Acosta coming from deep over halfway, dead central, works his way past 2 or 3 players down the left side of the area, shoots in towards the near post, and it's another goal. Acosta may have missed a penalty a few moments ago, but he straight away fires back from open play with an 8th goal of the game for Spain, his 2nd of the match, and it is Spain 8, Georgia 0. Really good close control from the big man. Gets down the left side of the area. In the end, got past all 3 outfield players of Georgia, and it flashed past Mandario's near post and into the back of the net. So only a minute or 2 to go until the end of this contest. 90 seconds left, and Marglashvili trying to get on the score sheet here, does really well, gets to the right side of the area, but the ball was too quick for him to reach onto in the end, and it just trickles out for a Spanish ball. So the ball is thrown down the right-hand side. Sergio Alomar has it just over halfway, tries to thread the ball through to Jose Guerra, but it had a bit too much pace on him for him to be able to locate the ball in time and get on the end of it. At the other end, just over halfway, is Bachana Marglashvili. Does really well to turn away from a couple of red shirts. Then he's got his back to goal. He's got his opposite number, Sergio Alomar, in his back, and the latter comes out on top. He's already scored 1 in this game, Alomar. He's breaking over halfway, checks inside, dead central here, plays the ball nicely low towards the left-hand side. A free kick has been given, and is this going to be another team foul? I think it is, you know. This time conceding the foul was Alexander Shakarashvili. The discipline from Georgia in this second half has been very poor indeed, and I think we're going to get a 7th team foul for Georgia and another 8-metre penalty for Spain, and that is indeed the case. So Spain with another chance from the spot. This time it is Jose Luis Guerra. This time around it will be Guerra to take the penalty rather than Acosta. Of course, Acosta not really trusted anymore from the spot after his miss, but he did make up for it, however, with a super individual goal straight after. And coming off the field here is Shakarashvili, and now I'm not too sure why that is, but it does mean Georgia have got 2 outfield players here. Of course, they've got no substitutes. I suspect that's an injury to Shakarashvili. He didn't get another yellow card or anything like that. So instead, penalty will be taken from Jose Luis Guerra. The guard behind the goal just tapping the upright. Because that was a 7th foul for Georgia, they have to withdraw a player, and Shakarashvili is the man who has come off. Guerra will step up to this one with his left hand on the ball at the moment. Right foot goes in, and it's just tipped wide by the goalkeeper Mandario to keep the score down at 8. So a second penalty save from Mandario, but a lot of work for the Georgians to do here with just the 2 defenders now. Almost a game of last man standing at the moment from Georgia. Thankfully for them, they've only got a minute to go. So it'll be a corner on the near side for Spain. 2 stood over the ball. Martin coming inside now on the edge of the area, looks to shoot low, it drifts wide of Mandario's left hand upright. That would have been Martin's 5th of the game had he found the bottom corner then. Mandario will start from the back and throws it down the left hand side. Out of play And Spain will start from the back now. So a bit of a training match this for Spain at the moment, but of course they can't rest on their laurels. They need to get as many as possible to increase that goal difference. They've got a fantastic opportunity here to really hammer home some more goals. Acosta coming over halfway is the last man back for Spain at the moment. He's been jockeyed by the man in front of him, who is Marglashvili. Acosta just keeping the ball on the right-hand side, under no real pressure at all here, maybe just counting down the seconds. I'm surprised Spain aren't trying to go for another one here. Acosta just drifting around in his own half, and that will be that then. Spain win the game by 8-0. It was a slow first half from them, and that wasn't really down to Spain being poor. It was just the fact that Georgia were very much ready for this contest. They were not daunted at all by the task ahead of them. Of course, Spain, multi-time champions of the European Championships. The Spanish players just applauding the crowd, who showed terrific support once again. Most of them Berliners, but all backing the Georgians and the Spaniards in this game. Georgia lost their discipline in the second half. They had a man sent off when Giorgio Bashiashvili picked up a second bookable offence. The game was already out of reach for them at that point, however. They conceded 17 fouls in the end. 2 of those 8-metre penalties were saved by Tredi Mandario. But that needn't matter, because Antonio Martin got 4, Adolfo Acosta got a couple as well, Sergio Alomar got on the score sheet. It was very much a comprehensive display from the Spaniards, who kick off the European Championship campaign with a blast. In the end, they win this game against Georgia by 8-0.
So there we go. It was only 2-0 at half-time, wasn't it? And it ended up being 8-0, and this thing here found the back of the net plenty of times. You have to say, Spain missing a couple of 8-metre penalties, which come the games where maybe it'll be a little bit closer, they really don't want the pressure of missing those penalties in vital games. So we'll figure that out as the tournament goes along. We're preparing an interview on the pitch. I believe our hat-trick hero is being interviewed maybe down on the side. Peter Selby has made his way down. I'll have Jonathan Bell with me when we come back from that interview a little bit later on. But as you can see behind me once again, loads and loads of sunlight. The sight of rain doesn't look good. We're not sure about the rest of the days here in Berlin, but yep, we had the heavens yesterday here. It's been a heaven full of goals in the last couple of games. We've had 6 for England. We've now had the 8 for Spain as well. So the first Group B game does indeed go the right way. 4 goals for Antonio Martin of Spain. So 4 goals as we go down to Pete Selby, who's with our hero.
A wonderful start for Spain against a spirited Georgian team. An expected win for Spain, but was the wide margin of victory more than expected?
Felicitaciones por la victoria contra un equipo georgio que estaba luchando, especialmente en el primo tiempo. Fue una victoria con 8-0, más que expectaba.
Georgia para nosotros era una incógnita porque nunca habíamos jugado contra ellos, pero sabíamos que iban a tener un principio muy fuerte y que a medida de meter goles pensábamos que se iban a ir viniendo abajo, y con la acumulación de faltas pues se han ido debilitando poco a poco.
Yeah, Georgia was a quite unknown team for us, and we know it was a tough fight, especially in the first minutes of the game. We expected Georgia going through, and we know we need to wait. And if we find a goal opener for this match, we can go through, and then maybe even because of the accumulation of the fouls in second half, there coming more and more opportunities to score a goal, and fortunately we did.
Group B has been labelled already the group of death, with yourself, Spain, also alongside Russia and of course Turkey, the defending champions. Only 2 are going to go through. First of all, can Spain get through? And second of all, can you go on and win this European Championships?
Todo el mundo habla del grupo B, del grupo de la muerte, con especialmente la Rusia, España y también la Turquía. Uno de estos 3 seguramente no va a ser la semifinal. La España puede sobrevivir a este grupo y además puede ganar el título europeo.
Nosotros ahora mismo solamente pensamos en el partido contra Rusia. Cuando juguemos contra Rusia pensaremos en Bélgica, y cuando juguemos con Bélgica pensaremos en Turquía, y así poco a poco hasta que la competición nos dicte en qué posición quedamos, pero nosotros partido a partido y intentaremos ganar el torneo, pero con cautela porque hay equipos fuertes y ahora mismo los actuales campeones son Turquía y subcampeón es Rusia.
Well, we are thinking at the moment from game to game. Now we won the first one. Next step is Russia, and if we have played Russia, we're thinking about Belgium, and step by step, it's going to be a tough group. And of course, we are dreaming of winning it, but let's see game step by step.
4-goal hero Antonio Martin, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Pete Selby down there. 4 goals for one player in any tournament. He's always impressive. Now, alongside me, Jonathan Bell, you've called the action there on an 8-goal. It wasn't a thriller, it was more of a whitewash. Some betting people would have had that down for a double-figure score from Spain, but that's not exactly how it happened, is it? Let's take a look now at some of the goals that went in, and Jonathan will talk us through some of the action that we've witnessed here in Berlin.
Yeah, a bit of a slow start in the first half from Spain in particular, but that was all credit to Georgia. They were quick out the traps, but in the second half, the floodgates, you have to say, well and truly open. That was down to Spain's quality in the final third that we just saw there from the man that was interviewed, Martin, down on pitch side with Pete. But also, Georgia just sort of let themselves go in terms of discipline. They ended up having a man sent off. They conceded in a total 17 fouls in that second half. A wonderful goal from Spain's number 7 there. I had him down as the whiz kid beforehand, the wonder kid, if you like. He was superb when he came on as a substitute in that second period.
Pete did say that Basilashvili might end up with a red card in this game, and that is, as you can see from the replay, exactly what happened. He was wonderful for them in lots of other areas, wasn't he? He was very industrious, very, very competitive, but unfortunately 2 yellow cards and you are out of here.
If this can be a compliment, it was a bit of a headless chicken in a way, the way he ran around the pitch. He certainly put his body on the line, and in the end, it just got a bit too much for him. You can see how nasty that collision on the ankle was there, and unfortunately, the number 5 for Spain had to go off injured after that. But Martin, that didn't stop him at all, and in fact, he lapped up the fact that he had one less player in front of him to contend with. He managed to get 4 goals in total, as we heard from him down on pitch side, and Spain really did the dirty work in the first half. They managed to make things look a lot prettier in the second. They got a lot of goals, of course, with the 8 in total, and a lot of this is about goal difference. In the first half, it was sort of a case of scraping through it with the 2 goals. The second half, the water gates certainly opened. And if this was just a knockout game later on, then certainly we could say, right, 2-0 scoreline, just get it done, move on to the next game. But when it's a round-robin contest and goal difference is so vital, these 8 goals can be absolutely crucial. This was the first of 3 Spanish penalties. He only managed to confirm one of the 3 into the back of the net in the end. So credit to the Georgian goalkeeper, but overall not a great second half for Georgia, but they have to make sure they don't forget about that first period of 20 minutes and they take that into their remaining games, because that certainly offered them a lot of hope.
A good victory for Spain, but actually certainly quite a lot of lessons being learnt as well. They're going to have to tighten up with those penalty misses, as Jonathan said, converting just 1 of the 3 of them in this game. They've got a man with 4 goals in his boots at the moment. Let's take a look at what else is coming up here on day 2 of the IBSA Blind Football European Championships. Turkey versus Belgium. Don't go anywhere. Actually, the game starts at 7:30. Our coverage will be on air at 7:10, so not a long gap at all. 15 minutes until you see our beautiful faces once again. Well, mine anyway. We'll be back with you in a short while.